What's going on, Doombots? Today is the character spotlight for Black Panther. Yeah, that's it. We'll go right into it. So, Black Panther, or for the most of the written history, T'Challa showed up around 1966, and as you'll see with a lot of these entries, in a Fantastic Four comic, Fantastic Four 52, as just the Black Panther, and some aspects of it have historical elements, which I'm not going to get into right now because there's no reason to. But the Black Panther was one of the first African superheroes, not African American, African superheroes, at least popularized by one of the major comic book names. T'Challa, or the son of T'Chaka, is part of a long line in the heritage of the Black Panther, almost like it's a birthright. Very similar to how like Black Bull ended up getting his power through birthright and genealogy and stuff like that. But more or less, the entire idea of the Black Panther was in a fictional nation of Wakanda, a asteroid made of magic metal called vibranium landed, and as a result of it, with the ability to harness this technology for hundreds and hundreds of years, they were able to thrive to a society that was closer in line to some of the alien civilizations of the Marvel super universe than regular Marvel universe. So they kept themselves hidden and just kind of stayed away from the rest of the world, seeing as how the rest of the world at the time when everything had happened was pretty much just warmongering. So they avoided that. Basically, the current storylines that are going on with Black Panther, we've seen some ups and downs. We've seen some Wakanda being a leader of nations, and then we've seen them go into withdrawal and avoid the rest of the nations over time. There's a lot of history here, so it's hard to kind of point out any one particular storyline, but I will put some in the descriptions below that are pretty relevant to Black Panther's growth. Additionally, there have been other people to hold the mantle. His sister Shuri, M'Baku, plenty of people have taken the powers. But that said, let's go into the powers of Black Panther. So a lot of the powers of Black Panther are, embellished a little bit. The most important power he has, which was actually true from the movie, comes from the heart-shaped herb. The first is it takes his abilities to a superhuman level. So the Black Panther, while absorbing the power of the Panther goddess Bast, would become basically like a super soldier, Steve Rogers kind of power level, stronger than what most humans would ever be, or any human really, faster, more agile, more durable, and that comes from the heart-shaped herb. But take away that power, and through his genealogy and training, he is one of the most powerful humans on the planet. So even if he's not empowered by the heart-shaped herb, he still has as close to peak human strength, stamina, endurance, speed that anyone else could. He's that powerful. T'Challa and his lineage, through genetics as well as training, he's that powerful. Additionally, he has, through the powers of the Black Panther herb, the heart-shaped herb, he has the ability to communicate with every single dead Black Panther or previous Black Panther through ancestry. He is, quote-unquote, the king of the dead, at least. He can travel between the realm and communicate with other dead people. Just takes a little bit of effort, kind of like the Sixth Sense, but very weird. His senses are basically insane. Similar to like Daredevil senses, except also his eyesight is crazy. You would think he's like technologically improved. How good his sound and his hearing is, all from these powers. The rest of it is just he's strong, he's fast, he regens, he has good reflexes. Technically, he's also a necromancer. That's not talked about a lot, but as a cool little thing for you to know, Black Panther can take control of zombies or the dead He can create energy constructs like the Green Lantern, except they tend to look like Panthers. And at times, he has gained something called cosmic awareness, something we talked about in the Adam Warlock video. He just kind of has an understanding of the way the universe works. You don't see that often, but he has it. He's super powerful depending on who's writing him. He's also above average intellect. Sometimes he's written as Reed Richards / Tony Stark level of intellect. Who's to say? Depends on who's writing him. That not so much anymore. Now he's just a smart dude. Marksman, acrobat, all of those stuff that you hear about from training, all great for him. But he does have a weakness. It's the fact that all of his senses are through the roof, insane, that quick flashes of bright light, as well as loud noises and incredibly strong smells, can completely throw him off. It's the downside of kind of like the Spider-Man spider sense issues that I've run up to, or Daredevil if you bang some metal around. So that's his basic weakness. To counteract those weaknesses, the Black Panther is also one of the richest people on the planet, due to the fact that he has an unlimited energy and a material that is quite literally priceless in vibranium. So we have his gear. He has infinite technology. He has a suit that can absorb powers in the same way the Bishop can, and then later on disperse them. He doesn't really make them bigger, but he can kind of focus them. It can, of course, be overloaded, but no big deal. He has vibranium claws. He has visors and goggles that prevent certain things. He has like a heads-up display, depending on how late into the story he gets up there. He has energy-dampening boots. He can teleport sometimes, depending on what the technology is. Basically, he's like a combination of Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, and Wolverine, for lack of better words. Like, it's just, he's super duper powered. So now, taking all of that into account, let's see how he works in Marvel Strike Force. He is a hero, global, mystic, brawler, avenger. All of these are pretty accurate. Well, moving to here doesn't really matter. Hero, yeah. Global, absolutely. He operates within the confines of the planet. Not much, not city characters tend to be like, hey, I really only care about where I'm located right now. He will travel around the world. Mystic and skill are both viable options for him, as well as tech. But since what makes him a superhero does tend to be the powers he gets from the heart-shaped herb, if you remove them, yes, he would still be a competent hero, but the thing that kind of puts him over is that mystic, so I'll give him that. And then brawler, yeah, that scans too. And all these are pretty accurate. As far as ISOs are concerned, there is no right or wrong ISO for him. Unfortunately, he's not very useful in a lot of the game modes. What he is very fun, though. So you can justify Stryker very easily based on the teams you tend to put him with, and his ability to, on kill, take an extra turn. We'll talk about that in a second. Stryker ends up being really well. Fortifier and Healer completely useless on him. Skirmisher depends on the team you're using him on. Not incredibly relevant. You don't really need to remove buffs usually. And Raider, he only has one attack that hits multiple times or multiple people, and that one attack is his ultimate, and it takes forever to charge. Blah, 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 blah. Trust me, I want to try him out with Deathpool. Maybe you guys can too, to see if he can keep powering out energy. Maybe some kind of cool Deathpool, Black Panther, Ms. Marvel comp might end up being okay. I don't know. That's just me spitballing some funny ideas. But basically, Stryker just ends up being the best option because everything else is actually a worse option, not because it's so good. And then we can move to his actual, well, we can just look at his stats real quick. None of his stats are particularly relevant, especially because he's one of the older characters in the game. I believe he's not even, I don't want to say year one. I think the Black Panther was like week one. He's month one of the first characters introduced into the game. Great character for a very long time, just hasn't really held up. But one of the few characters in the game that has this super cool feature. On kill, fill speed bar by 100%. which means every time you take someone down, the more tier 4s you put into it, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, he gets to take an extra turn. So if he were to be strong enough, he could then kill somebody, take an extra turn, kill somebody, take an extra turn. Or you could set up a situation where many characters are about to be killed, so you can kind of pick them all off with him. Super fun to play with, especially in the early game if you're a newer player. And you happen across a Black Panther from like a Mega Orb, you'll actually have a lot of fun in some of the early game, like U5, U6 raid nodes, by just using Black Panther to beat him up. That said, don't waste your effort on him. Trust me on this. Moving into Panther Rush, it's like 6 energy attack. Attack primary targets for some damage. You know, it actually goes down if unless he has charge. So the cool thing is, while in charge, he attacks for 220 plus 220, but it's still 10% less damage, even though it does hit everybody. So it's a weird little change that they made. You can upgrade it, but it doesn't make much of a difference. 30% to there, 30% here. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. The biggest thing is the charge lets you hit everybody, and anyone who dies, add to his turn meter. Cool thing about his turn meter is it doesn't fill his turn meter to 100. It gains 100. So if he kills 5 people, he will take 5 extra turns. That's one of the... There's very few characters that actually work like that. And he's got one of the other benefits where if his attack would cause a character to die. So if he attacks somebody and like Okoye or Ms. Marvel assists and kills them, he still gets to take the extra turn. It's weird. It doesn't work the way a lot of other characters on kill abilities do, but it's never hurt him. His special, a little bit lackluster. It is a single target, low power attack, even though it has a little decent piercing, and then gain offense up for 2 turns. That does happen after the attack, so it's not like the attack does, generally speaking, more damage. On crit, gain counter. He doesn't crit that often. And Claw Slash, this is actually a pretty decent ability, all things considered, and this is how far the game has come. Attack primary target for 180 damage. 90% chance to slow, 100% with tier 4s. 90% is 100%, right? Like, you're not... 9 out of 10 times means the one time it doesn't, it's going to be crazy, as opposed to, you know, 50-50 or anything like that. But this used to be a really important ability. There were parts of the game where, like Mystic Campaign, where Black Panther was so good just because he can apply slows with his basic. Now, unfortunately, Black Panther is at the bottom end of B, maybe even a C-rated character. It's unfortunate that, 1, he kind of fell off, 2, his support, as in his teams, have kind of fallen off. He's got nothing, no reworks, nothing to make him better. And it's kind of unfortunate because we've had a Black Panther movie come out. We've gotten some other characters. We've got some Wakandans. They all suck. We've got the Young Avengers team, which is one of the best teams you can use him on. Still not really a better option than whoever other 5th you might put on that team is. Usually Captain Marvel. So, yeah, he's a fun character. He's one of the most fun characters to play in the game. Problem is he doesn't really shine with investment. So the more you put into him, the more you feel like you wasted putting into him. I know a couple people who, for a very long time, had high red stars, high investment Black Panthers, took them into Dark Dimensions and stuff. Doesn't really shine in those game modes. There's actually really no game mode in which Black Panther, as a character or as part of a team, really does anything. At least as of right now. Like I said, I might want to try him out with characters like Deathpool and Shuri, you know, just to see if we can start feeding him more energy and he can ult more frequently. It worked with Doom, right? So that's pretty much everything I can say on Black Panther. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I try to keep these videos short and informative, so if you want me to make them a little bit longer, comment below and let me know. And if you want me to make them shorter somehow, I will try to make them closer to about 10 minutes. I just like to talk more about the characters outside of the game than the characters inside of the game. Plenty of people can talk about them within the confines of the game. And, you know, this game's been around for 3 years now. Unless it's a brand new character, someone has an opinion on it. So let me know below what you guys think. Have a good night. Have a great day. I've been Tony Scungili, and I'll catch you later.